So welcome back to UFOs Above Us. Today we're going to do an in-depth look at the white orbs I've been photographing. We're going to look at several here, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to do that for yourself. So here's the first one. You can see in the original pictures, obviously they're high up in the sky, so they're very small. So we're going to jump straight to a boosted contrast, large enhancement of them to look at them. And this one is your traditional dual light source, dual white orb. If you look carefully at this, it's got some kind of a mist layer around it, which again is fairly common. I see a lot of these. And it's got some other things about it. If you look very carefully, when you really zoom in, you can see some interesting things over there to the left of it, some striations. See that banding? So that's interesting. You don't see it corresponding on the other side. But you can definitely see the two orbs in some kind of a mist or something around it. So that's the first one that we want to look at. And again, we're going to study several of these, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to do this for yourself. So here's the second one. Again, it's a traditional light source, but this one, there were some other orbs in there, and they were so far away and so tiny that you couldn't see them. But this one you could. So we're going to zoom in on this main one. Again, it's got the dual light sources, and this is similar to the one I see very regularly in West Texas, because it's got some kind of apparatus connecting it. You can see a mist or something in here between the two lights. And when I really zoom in, you can even see what looks like wires or cabling or something connecting these two light sources. Now, one interesting thing about this one is the shape of that one right there. It's not as much round as it is oval. Kind of reminded me of an eyeball. So when you zoom it way in, it looked very strange to me. If you look at it sideways, tilt your head to the left, almost looks like two eyes. And I don't want to get into that. I'm a scientist and I study this very objectively. No hocus pocus, no scariness to it at all. I just see it as something to research, which is what I've been doing for 3.5 years now. So that one was interesting, but we've got a lot of other ones to look at. So here's the next one, and I really enjoyed this one because it's a more triangular shaped. And unlike those others that looked almost like alien beings or something, these look more like alien technology craft, spacecraft. So look at that one. You can see the overall wedge shape to it, but it's really unusual. You got the light source there. You've got this, almost looks metallic. But then if you zoom it way in and you look at that leading edge, on both sides you have some odd things there. So especially right there. Look at that piping or whatever it is there on the leading edge of this, whatever it is. So I thought that was really interesting. And I've got another photo I'll share with you that's a little bit different, but the same overall shape. So I'll share that with you next. But again, I'm seeing a lot of these. I invested a lot of money in a new high-resolution camera, a mirrorless camera, and now it allows me to zoom in so far. Here's this next one. It allows me to zoom in so far that I'm seeing these all the time. So we'll talk about how I do that in a minute here, but look at this one. Isn't that interesting? Very similar to the last one. In fact, you can even see the little pipe work on the front leading edge there. But look at that. Instead of the flat or rectangular shapes, that one's circular. And then the one on the left almost looked pyramid shaped to me. So again, some similarities, but some differences. But this is just an example of what I'm seeing. And again, I'm seeing a lot of these, and we'll talk about that. And I hope some of y'all will decide to try to do this for yourself, because it's not that there's anything unique about me. I think it's just a technique that I happened upon and have been kind of developing or practicing. All right, here's this next one. And if you look here at the basic picture, of course, these are cropped in. This one is fascinating. And I've studied this one way more than I should have. I've looked at it zoomed in at huge pixel levels. But look at this. So we've got this nice circular orb, and you can't ignore this black pattern right here. Very dark black banding around a gray, misty object with some kind of an aura around it. Can you see that on the outside there? There's some kind of a force field, aura, something around that. So of all the ones I've looked at, I'm going to zoom way in so you can see this nice and close. That is fascinating. How can you say that's naturally occurring? There's no possible way that that's naturally occurring. The question is it living or is it alien technology? What is it? I don't know. But let's keep going. We'll kind of look at the rest of these. This one was interesting. if you look at it, you can already see the light source there, and you can see some kind of apparatus around it. What I thought was odd about this one is it had a lot of protrusions, almost like like a porcupine. So you've got the beautiful white orb there. Came in real clear on this one. I'll zoom it in and you can see it a little better. Then you've got this tail on it with something, bulbous tail. And then you've got this gray area with all those projections sticking out on both sides. So that one was really interesting to me. I know it seems redundant when I say that all the time, but all these are fascinating. Um, so the question is, I wonder if it's that these are everywhere and people just don't know how to look for them. So I thought I'd take a few seconds here, maybe a minute, excuse me, and explain how I do this. The way I'm seeing these objects, when you acclimate yourself to the sky, sit down in a comfortable chair outside, look up in the sky, and relax. Do whatever you need to relax. Once you relax and you're focused on the sky, you're going to see out of your peripheral vision little flashes or little specks occasionally. And that is these objects. They only show up for a second or two. So my advice would be to take your camera, highest resolution you can afford. When you see one of those specks, point it in that direction and flash a picture. If there's clouds, it makes it easier because you can focus on the clouds and then make your focus point a little further away than the cloud. That will give you the best chance at catching some of these. But if you do that, I bet you'll catch some of your own. It took me a lot of practice to do this. The first 6 months or so, I wasn't real successful. Now, I see them all the time. And I think you could too. I think anyone could. There's nothing unique about me again. It's just you have to be open-minded and you have to look for them and put the effort in. And if you do, you'll see them as well. So if you do, I would encourage you to send me the information if you don't mind. I have a Gmail account. It's just my UFOsAboveUs at Gmail. Shoot me some correspondence. Let me know how you're doing. If you have questions, do that. Ask me them as well. Again, they're up there. They're up there regularly. And I just want to know what they are, what they're here for. Together, we can find out a lot more information than individuals working all by themselves. So this is Matt. For UFOs Above Us, I want to remind you, keep watching the skies. The answers we all are seeking are really up there.